Hi, I'm Dave Barnes.
And I'm John McLaughlin.
And welcome to Dadville.
Dadville is a podcast where we talk about life, love, and the pursuit of awesome dadding.
It's funny thoughts and deep talks.
So please, enjoy your time here in Dadville and enjoy this episode with...
Dave and me. John. So, for me, I didn't know Superman was that tall. And then we all started laughing.
Oh, were you talking to me that whole time?
No, I'll call you later. So, John, silly John, it's 2023. And if you remember like I do, 2023 was always in like the weird sci-fi movies. Like
always.
2023.
Yeah.
And in those movies, you could always read somebody's mind.
Oh, yeah. And it's one of my favorite features of those movies. And now that it's 2023, I would assume...
Yeah, we can
read each other's
so
minds.
You go first, and I'm just going to say with you what you're about to say. I don't know. We didn't practice this. Here we go.
Ready?
Yep.
A bird in the hand is worth two in the bush.
Gardens. Yes. Nailed it. I knew. Okay, now it's my turn. It's my turn. Here we go. Isn't that their phrase, by the way?
Yeah.
When you walk in. Okay. Yeah. Here's mine. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Oh, my God.
I almost said it before you.
We are so in sync. Okay. So in sync.
We're in sync because we are relishing in the nutritional benefits of today's sponsor, Dave, Athletic Greens.
Nailed it, John.
Yep.
Listen, I gave AG1, as the insiders call it, a try this year because I wanted an easy way to ensure that I get all the nutrients my body needs. I mean, come on. These songs don't write themselves.
Don't write themselves. I knew you were going to say that.
It
also helps with our burgeoning podcast empire.
I'm not a businessman. I'm a businessman.
Man.
Yeah.
As I'm sure you've seen, Dave, my latte art flows from my creative spirit each morning after and only after I take my AG1. Not to brag.
You forgot the water one time when you didn't do it. You remember?
And
you tried
it wasn't pretty.
But
I'm in talks with the Met about this latest foam-centric
I didn't
creation.
know that. Okay,
I don't want to jinx
congratulations.
it.
Congratulations. Yeah. One day I'm going to write your brag sheet, and it will definitely be the first graph or the second graph. That's short for paragraph. Yeah. Right next to the world renowned. And everybody knows this Kringle connoisseur. Do we want to talk about how many you took in?
No.
Okay.
You can't say the K word after New Year's because I won't allow it. Because I won't allow myself.
Noted. I know. Well, AG1 is literally the healthiest thing you can do in a minute. And just to prove in that minute how quickly you can do this, I want you to time me, okay?
Ready?
I've got it right here.
Go.
It's done.
3 seconds,
coming out of my nose a little
Amazing.
bit. Coming out of my nose a little bit. It was a little fast, shouldn't it?
That was impressive.
Thank you.
Here's my question, Dave. Why would anyone not take this?
I can't answer that.
It's 1 scoop of powder in water once a day. It tastes delicious. It's easy.
Oh, my gosh. And right now, it's hitting me. I can feel it bursting out of my veins. I'm going to go try to lift that car right there. I'll be right back.
That one? The big one? Okay. Oh, he's gone. I'll just finish this by myself. So if you're looking for an easier way to take supplements, Athletic Greens is giving you a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Go to athleticgreens.com/Dadville. That's athleticgreens.com/Dadville. Check it out.
Definitely pull my back.
You got
definitely
that
pull my back.
way over
Definitely
your
pull
head. Are you okay?
We hot.
Let's let other people say it.
Hey, are we hot?
Are we hot or are we not?
Is that
Let
still
us
a
know.
thing? Are they still doing that?
Are we hot or not?
Okay, I feel like volume-wise, we're just
We're
right.
good. We're just right. Yeah,
now,
yeah.
physically, I can't speak to that, John. I want to say that I think you're hot, but,
I think you're looking smoking hot in 2023, Dave.
Thank you. That's a lot of walking that you're seeing. That's a lot of walking exercise.
You just walked 80 miles.
80 plus miles.
In the United Kingdom.
In the kingdom.
How many kilometers is that? At least 80.
120 to 14, 20. I'm not sure. Is it kilometers is more than miles?
Is it 2.2 kilometers is a mile? Or is that kilograms to a pound? I genuinely don't know.
Our forefathers fought so hard so we could have this dilemma.
A 5K is 3.1 miles.
Oh, yeah. So it'd be, I bet you, I don't want to say it because people right now.
I mean, I have the number in my head, but I don't want to be like show-offy.
Happy New Year's, John. Here we are.
Happy New Year. Wait, do you say New Year or Happy New Year's?
I've always said years. New Year's.
That's another regional thing.
Happy New Year's. Yeah, have I said that?
I say Happy New Year.
No, I'd say if I saw you, I don't know what I do. John, Happy New Year.
Well, you just said Happy New Year's.
Well, I felt pressure because I think you said it.
Yeah.
Happy New Year's. I don't know. Who cares?
I say Happy New Year.
Should we start over?
But like you say July, and I say July.
Hey, are you guys going to be there in July? No, I don't.
Yeah, you do.
I do. July.
Yeah, you say July.
No, I think Andy says July.
No. You say July.
Guys, is it July? Oh, I do say it. Dang it. July 4th. Oh, I do say it.
Yeah, you do.
I definitely say it. I definitely say that.
Maybe you only say it when it's July 4th.
Yeah.
Everything else, like
July 19th.
it's July 5th.
Yeah.
But July 4th.
It's relegated to that day.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy
or
New
New
Year.
Year's.
Yeah.
I'm excited about 2023.
Oh, yeah. Tell me why. Give me.
I don't really know. And I feel like I don't really get on the full, like, all right, it's New Year. Let's do a bunch of resolutions. Like, this is our year. Like, this is. Whenever I hear people say that, my mind always thinks, this is a thing we've made up. This, like, the construct of a year. I mean, I know that it's like, this, we go around the sun, that whole thing. But it's like, it's another day.
Yeah.
I don't feel the full, like, all right, let's do this. Like this, everything, all the possibilities have been reset and we can have a great year.
Yeah.
I don't normally feel that way, but for some reason, 2023, I kind of feel that a little bit. I'm like, this is going to be a great year. I don't know why I feel that way.
Do you think that's some because we're like kind of, I don't want to say this too strong, but we're kind of officially out of the woods with COVID? Feels like
maybe
now everything, the world is like really, 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 really hitting a global reset. Like,
yeah,
I do wonder if everybody feels like 2023, we're like, okay, now, okay.
There's maybe some of it that's like, I mean, the past 3 years were pretty rough.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all up from here.
Yeah.
It can't be as bad.
Yeah. All
maybe.
Up from here? Would it be down? Because momentum?
See, this is another regional thing. This is
Look,
July
versus
July.
They want to push. They want to keep energy, make it.
Well, it's like we've hit rock bottom with COVID. Now it's all
now
up
you're going
from here.
up. See, I would say now it's downhill because you got the wind behind you. Momentum is going down. You don't have to pedal anymore.
Which, ironically, I grew up in the north. You grew up in the south.
Also, now I'm wondering, like, am I headed toward the ditch?
Right.
Like, is that just me headed down?
Yeah.
But I don't want to pedal. You know what you don't have to pedal with, though, John?
Car?
Electric bikes. Look at that. Look what I did there. Okay, so yeah, I will say I feel like you. I'm excited about 2023. So we did just get back. I posted this on my IG, but we just got back from as John said, the United Kingdom. We went to London for Christmas in 11 days, which was really, we didn't do Christmas in 11 days. Thank goodness that would have been that would have been a lot. I love Christmas. We both love Christmas.
Yeah.
We have music to celebrate Christmas, but
it was a great trip.
Great trip.
You guys walked 80 miles.
It was amazing.
With 3 kids.
Yep.
Which is amazing.
How
was it like waking up Christmas morning, not in your own house, but not in your own country?
Yeah, outside. It was cold.
Yeah.
Camping in that guy's front yard.
Why didn't you just wake up inside?
No, it was great. We Annie and all of her genius was like, hey, what if we did like, because I told her, I said, I want to do the most iconic Christmas we can do in London. And we stayed in a place called Putney. Shout out to the Hard Sox for letting us stay there. But it's not like, you're not walking outside going like, this feels like all the movies. It's a cute, amazing little familial part of
But you're
London.
not like in
No, you're not in
Trafalgar Square.
Yes, you're not. You don't feel like you're in Mary Poppins. And then so Annie was like, what if we just did that one night where we stayed like, downtown London, like in the smack dab of everything.
I forgot that you guys were going to do that.
Yeah, we did one night at the Sofitel there in St. James's Park, and it was absolutely that. Like 1,000,000,000%.
You felt like Mary Poppins.
Yes, finally. After all these years. And
you got the dress altered.
Oh,
it fit
man,
perfect.
so well.
Spoonful of sugar after spoonful of sugar.
And that did make the dress tighter. I realized too much sugar is definitely going to, you swell. But it was that. So the morning was, Annie did stockings that morning, which was really fun. And it was great. But I think to your point, it was a much needed, you and I were talking about this before we started recording, it was a much needed refresher to come back and kind of feel like travel is so great that way. Again, I know y'all are about to go on this big trip. I think I underestimate how much, for me, it's just everything gets back in its place. I'm glad to be home. I feel rested. I mean, sort of rested, but had
Well,
great
I
time
do
with the
think
kids.
there's something about like, we have our routines and I think like my brain, when I walk back to my piano and my desk and all that, like, and this is not a bad thing, but it's just like my brain is firing in all the regular places that it normally fires. And then you get out of your routine and go to a different country. And like what Amy and the girls and I are getting ready to do is go to Israel, which we've never been there.
Yeah.
And there's something about it that just kind of resets. Even if you come back and you go back to your routine, there's something that like your brain doesn't, I don't know. It starts over and it's not quite firing in all the ruts that it was.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so I'm like you. I feel like and I mean I hope I can continue this mindset for a few more weeks. I doubt it will, probably 3 or 4 more days.
Right.
Before I get into like let's start stressing or overthinking about music and the kids and Annie and life and everything that I can fixate on. But right now it feels I'm with you. I'm excited. I feel like there's a lot of cool perspective that comes from traveling like that. And
travel and I just turned 40, so I'm really in this mindset about age in a good way. I'm like, I feel like I should be optimistic in that it's like I've lived 40 years now. I've stressed about all the things that I've stressed about for however long now.
Yeah,
it's time for me to be a little less scared of them now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I think
it's all downhill from here.
If nothing else, the thing that's great in July. I think the thing that's so great about travel is it's doing what you just said it does. It just is this mental ginger of like, oh yeah, why do I care about these things? We did this huge trip, nothing, praise God, went wrong. Everybody was okay. We're back, and now like, why do I care about this? Like everything's gonna be all right. Like I have such a different perspective on. I'm so thankful for home and being home. And, there's just such a great little, okay, that was a nice. It makes me wonder if every now and then we do travel for Christmas just to get out of the like groove. I tell you what, the parents who are listening, I'm sure y'all feel this pain, but like, those 2 or 3 weeks of being with your kids is intense. It's really, really tricky.
What's in that song? Mom and Dad can hardly wait for school to start again.
I mean, he called it. He called that
age old.
Years ago. But it's true. It's like it is a hard season. It's really exciting and fun. But that little, and I mean, there's so many jokes about it. I read some meme about the other day. But that really weird space we're in right now, where you have that post-Christmas to kids back in school. Nobody knows what to do. Parents who work don't know what to do because they're probably not working. The kids don't know what to do because like they've already had a week or two that they're out. There's another weird like this free fall of this kind of week and a half where you're like, and so it's a really tricky. It's just a tricky time to navigate. So it made me, as I was thinking this morning, I was walking and praying and whatever, and I was like, it'd be interesting to kind of try to do this every now and then where you just get out of town for Christmas to like, and that was the only reason we did it is we just didn't spend money on all the gifts and stuff and instead decided to do a trip. Yeah. But like, just to get out of that little groove of like, oh, here we come. Because it feels like it's really fun for like a week or two because it's like anticipation. You're doing all the Christmas things, Christmas parties. With us, we have the Christmas shows and stuff. And then Christmas hits and it's like this huge denouement. Like you just take this road down or up. If from Indiana, into like, oh God, just waking up and like, what are we going to do today? And usually it's pretty cold outside. So it's not like you can, and you're just
and you're out of your routine.
It's so weird. It's such a weird, so trying to do this kind of things, I think maybe something we think about more. And I mean, I don't know what that consistency would look like, but it was great to just not be sitting there for 2 weeks. Cause our family of 5 doesn't always do that well. And then 2, just to, like you said, to start the year with such a different perspective. Because then we went to New York for a wedding, for our friend Sarah Beth's wedding for a few days. And that was great.
Which we were supposed to go to, but
and then Southwest decided to just nuke that mother.
It's like the macro version of when you're stressing about something. This happens to me sometimes. And I always love it when this happens. I'll be stressed about something. And then I'll forget about what it was. Like my stress, the sensation of stress will continue. But I'll be like, wait, what was why? I know I'm stressed about something. What was it? And then when I remember, it is always smaller than what my body is doing. You know what I mean? Like I'm always like, oh, that's right. I'm just stressed because I got to get that oil change or something like that. I mean, that's a bad example. I don't stress about oil
they're
changes,
really intense oil changes.
They are intense.
The place you go.
They make you do it yourself while they watch.
And they have their dads come in and watch you. They video your dad in, and he watches. So let's do this. Let's do this. Tell me about. Let's go retrospective first.
Okay.
Let's go 2022.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me as you think about 2022. What do you think about the ups and downs, the sideways? Uphill or downhill battles.
One of the things that I think about with 2022, I have lots of great memories from 2022. Speaking of trips, we went to Mexico.
That was so much fun.
And that really was a highlight of the year.
So much fun.
Because it wasn't the, like, go down to Cancun, sit on the beach, which I would have, if we had like a vote, I would have voted for that.
Right.
I would have been like, guys, we're overthinking this.
Right.
Let's just go to the beach and just sit on the beach and look at the serene ocean. But we didn't do that, and we went to Mexico City, and I can't remember the other city we went to.
Oh, yeah. San Miguel.
San Miguel. But it was
Can I do a little plug? And we're not even getting paid for this.
Yeah.
We're getting no dinero for this.
No, we are actually. Mexican tourism. We landed that deal.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, then, muy guapo.
Go ahead.
A little shout out for those, because I think what I thought, I'll just say that, what I thought about that trip was, Mexico it's going to be hot because we went in August.
Right. Yeah.
It was going to be like, what is there kind of to do? Let me tell y'all something. First of all, the weather was glorious. I didn't realize how the altitude, especially in Mexico City, it's like 6,000-7,000 feet above sea level.
I don't remember, but yeah, it's up there.
It's way up there. So and it was gorgeous. Weather-wise, absolutely gorgeous. Like jeans, shoes, T-shirt in August, which was amazing. Unbelievably, we stayed in the city, in Mexico City. Clean, wonderful, a million places to eat that were great and see. Cool city.
When I picture Mexico City now, do you remember those huge like medians that they had? Like they had parks in the middle of their streets.
Yeah, it was amazing.
It was amazing.
And San Miguel was just that was a whole other thing.
Yeah.
I'm with you. That was a great memory.
Yeah, that was a highlight. Amy and I went on another trip to Montauk, which was great. The tour, the fall tour that I did, I really, really loved. I feel like I'm 40 now. I feel like I am honing in on being a little more present with everything that I'm doing. So,
yeah.
What about you?
We had some fun trips too. We did California with the kids for the first time, which was really great. We did that was a really fun trip. We stayed at a really dear friend of ours' place on what's the island? Dadgummit in San Diego, not Catalina because that's L.A. Where the military base is.
Oh, San Diego Island.
SDI. It's the one that Top Gun and everything's on. It's where they shot that. Anyway,
Tom Cruise Island.
Tom Cruise, TCI. TMI. And that was really great. Shout out to Candace for letting us stay there. That was really fun. We did, like, Annie and I were laughing in retrospect how much, and you and I were talking about this before, but I think we travel as much as we do just because I think Annie is sort of like, I can't stay here for that long with these kids or somebody, there's going to be blood spilled.
Yeah.
She's going to love that I said that. But, and I agree. I mean, I'm the same. That's not just her, but I think she's wise enough to know that where I'm like, we'll be fine. And then like 3 days in, it's like Lord of the Flies or remember the SNL skit where they're anchormen and they forget the thing and it turns, there's a head on the spear. It sort of turns into that in our house too. But yeah, trips were great. Went with y'all. We did North Carolina with, the Candros. It was just fun. It was a really a fun year. I think for me, one of the things I remember the most this year was writing this record and how much fun.
I was going to say,
I think in retrospect,
you've written like 40 songs for this new record.
It's been a lot. Yeah. And I think this year it felt like, I just don't know that I've ever had more fun writing songs. Mm-hmm. Except for maybe writing that
way
first
into
record.
the Beatles.
Way into
Paul
the
McCartney.
Beatles. Yeah. And I don't know. It's just encouraging to know that at 44 I can have this much fun doing it and feel this challenged. And a lot of it is because, I've heard me talk about this on previous podcasts, but I think a lot of it was just as I listened to them, how inspiring it was to really dig into their catalog and Paul's catalog after that, and just to be so inspired by the musicality and all the things they do. So it was just a fun year. I just had so much fun writing music. It was like I just haven't felt like that in a long time, maybe since the beginning when I started.
Well, we talked about this on the Tom Douglas episode. I don't know if we were recording when we were talking this, but like you write so many songs. You're so prolific, and I think I wrote, I don't know, 8 songs last year, maybe.
Yeah, but you also learned these incredible piano pieces that take incredible amounts of brain
power.
And
I do love doing that. I'm doing that. This is actually one of the thoughts that I had, but I'm doing that for no one. It's only for me that I'm doing that. No one cares that I'm doing it. But do you still get that feeling? Like when I finish a song, there's almost no greater feeling. When you finish a song that like this is a quality song, I wrote a song. That for me happened 8 times last year. And I mean, maybe I'm not sure if all 8 were like equal level. Maybe 5 of them were like, this is a song I will record and I will put out and I will play.
Right.
Do you feel that after the 38th song? Or I mean, you wrote more than that. This was just for your new record.
This one was tricky because I told you this, it's not my normal goalposts, so I didn't ever know if I was sticking the landing.
Right.
Some I did. Like I think there was probably, I would say maybe 8 of the there's probably 25 that I really liked that I was like, okay, let's figure out from these. Maybe half of those I felt that where I was like, okay, I think that's a great song. No, that's not fair. I'd say, probably 8 out of those. Yeah. Because it just felt like, I don't know, am I doing this right? Is this what?
Yeah.
This is what I'm trying to do? So it was tricky. It was really fun, but it just sort of always felt a little unfinished.
Well, I'm excited for people to hear it. I've listened to all the 30 or whatever or 25 that you sent me.
I tell you what, man, a small aside with that London trip. I mean, one of my favorite probably memories I will ever have is Ben and I, my 11-year-old, got up one morning and just he and I went to Abbey Road and put it was the cutest thing. He put one earbud in and I put one in, and we listened to Abbey Road on the train on the tube up there and walked. So you get out of the station and there at it's called St. John's Wood, and you walk to Abbey Road and we're listening the whole time and took a picture in front of the Abbey Road sign. And then we walked down the studio and took pictures there and then did the crosswalk thing. And it just was like, it would have been great if I had done it myself. Like it would have been
right.
I mean, I've got goosebumps thinking, but the fact that Ben just so wanted to go, and wanted to be in the experience was just like, I'll never forget that. It was
it's
just
so
such
cool
a
that you
thing.
did that at the end of 2022.
Yeah,
because that's the perfect. You really delved way into the Beatles.
Yeah.
And Paul McCartney especially.
Yeah.
And then capped the year off.
But
at Abbey Road.
it's funny, and this just shows how dumb I can be, I guess. But I didn't even really think about that with this trip until probably a week before. And if I had done more, I would have made more of it. In fact, last night, sitting here in Nashville, I was like, oh, there are more sites I could have. I went to Seville Row where they did the concert on the roof for the, which is cool because they have a plaque there. But John's got a place that's over kind of I think it's near Soho, that you can go to where he lived for a while. I did go to Paul's house. He actually still owns and lives there near Abbey Road. That was really cool too, by the way. Walking from Abbey Road to Paul's house. Everybody knows it's on Cavendish Avenue, but he still owns it. And it's where he wrote, I think, Let It Be in some of these monster songs. He still lives there when he's in London. And so you can walk that little walk. And that was really goosebumpy because you're like, this is a walk he would walk all the time. I'm sure thinking
songs.
about, how the session went. Yeah. It was really cool. And I tried not to be that guy. In fact, I was laughing with Ben. We were sitting outside, but there's a little camera, because you can see the house just right there. But they've got, a little wall, gate that opens for him and stuff. And I was like, there's a little camera, and I was so close, just being like, "Hey, Paul," like just big. And I was like,
he could be watching.
He could be watching.
Right now.
But then I had the thought, like, if for whatever reason I ever was to meet him, like God, I'm praying so much that I can, because he's getting up there, and he goes, "Wait a minute, were you stalking my house?" And I'm like, "Oh."
He pulls up a picture. Is this you?
Like, with your son, you're teaching him how to like stalk you, But that was such a, to your point, it was cool to kind of end the year thinking about like that record and being there and doing it. And it was really magical. It really felt like such
I
a
love
cool
that you
thing.
did that.
Yeah. And I say, I've seen ducks, and I know for sure that's not a duck.
No way.
Yes.
You've seen a duck?
No. No.
Okay.
They're not native.
I can tell you were lying.
Yeah. That's fair.
Hey, Dave, listen, I knew you were lying because I know you. Okay? But we know each other pretty well, but I need to give you one final test.
Okay, is this like a friendship test? Because it feels a little late in the game.
Well, think of it more like an acquaintance analysis.
Oh, okay. I'm in.
All right. What's my favorite season?
Mm-hmm. Not seasoning.
Nope. Season.
Oh, okay. Well, I know you love summer. Early spring?
Wrong.
Welcome,
everyone, to the very
wait,
last
wait.
episode.
No,
of
hold
Dadville.
on. Come on, hold on. Wait. Don't do that.
I got you.
No.
I got you. My favorite season is Butcher Box season.
Oh,
I'll admit that was a bit of a trick question.
It is. You got me. But guess what? Double B, Butcher Box, always in season. Always.
I tell you, over the holidays, we had these incredible steaks. Dave, you would not believe how great they were. I could tell you, but you wouldn't believe it.
No, I was there with you, actually. I don't know.
Oh.
If you remember.
Okay, I must have been in like a beef-induced haze. I have no recollection of that. I just remember the
meat
steak
sweats.
and my plate. That's all I remember.
It was a mistake about the steak because you forgot. You know what I'm saying? Listen, let me help. Butcher Box is so incredibly easy. They have 100% grass-fed beef, free-range organic chicken, pork raised crate-free, and wild-caught seafood, John.
I just love it when I can surprise Amy and just take care of dinner.
Love that.
It's so convenient for us. Plus, you get free shipping in the continental United States and no surprise fees.
This is what's funny, John. I love surprises, but I don't love surprise fees.
I don't like surprise fees.
The thing. And boy, do we have a deal for our listeners today, John. Should we check that this is right before we say it on a world-renowned podcast listened by millions? Or we just roll with it?
You know me. I always live on the edge of life, Dave.
You and Aerosmith, okay? Here goes. The New Year bundle includes a 14-ounce pork tenderloin, 2 pounds of ground turkey, and I can't believe I'm saying it, but 4 top sirloin steaks.
Unbelievable.
Yep.
That sounds like we should run that by someone in legal.
I don't care.
Hold on. In my ear, I'm hearing that this offer.
Oh.
It is correct.
Okay.
It is correct. Just say
good.
it one more time, Dave.
Get the New Year bundle for free plus $10 off when you sign up today. That's 14-ounce pork tenderloin. We can say this. You just got to
14. Yep.
Okay.
We got to go ahead.
Okay. 2 pounds of ground turkey and 4 top sirloin steaks free in your first box.
Sign up at butcherbox.com/Dadville and use the code Dadville to claim this offer.
That's butcherbox.com/Dadville. Don't miss out. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. John.
Dave.
When have you felt like the best version of yourself?
Geez, Dave. Heavy question. Before I have my coffee.
I know, before I know.
Let's see. I'd say right now.
Okay.
I think I'm the best version of myself.
I love that.
But I'm always looking for ways to improve.
Yeah, and that's where BetterHelp comes in. Sometimes I feel overwhelmed and I just need someone to talk to, and working with a therapist can get you closer to that.
Oh, yeah. BetterHelp is a great option if you're looking to give therapy a try or you just need more flexibility.
I don't think I can say this enough, and we talk about this a lot on the podcast, John. There is so much power in getting these thoughts and anxiety and all these things out of yourself with someone that can sit and listen to you and basically either tell you you're crazy or you're not crazy. Either way, it's helpful.
BetterHelp is convenient, flexible, affordable, and entirely online. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge.
If you want to live a more empowered life, therapy can get you there. Visit BetterHelp.com/Dadville today to get 10% off your first month.
That's BetterHelp.com/Dadville. So podcast-wise, looking back in 2022, and as I was thinking about this morning, I'm going through all the episodes, and genuinely, I mean, every episode I remember, and I it's almost sacrilegious to pick out a couple of the other ones because I don't want to demote any of the other episodes.
Right.
But man, Kurt Thompson, was amazing.
Brought the absolute thunder heat.
I loved. One of my favorite episodes was Chris Hadfield.
Oh yeah, incredible.
That guy. For those of you listening who haven't listened to that episode, you got to go back and listen to it. I'm fascinated with outer space and like I can't believe that there are human beings who go to outer space.
Yep.
And people like Chris Hadfield he speaks like a million languages. He's like a mathematician, but also is like a fighter jet pilot and an astronaut, and he's in great shape. And that mustache, don't get me started.
Oh gosh.
Isn't it crazy that there are people like that?
I'll never forget him saying, like, or him talking about the Northern Lights.
Yeah.
Is it that where it was like he was like I was kind of like floating through them or something?
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's just not a conversation.
The experiences that he has had he's amongst. I don't know how many people in history have experienced what he's experienced. Like a couple.
Yep.
It's crazy.
Yep. I mean, Bruce Hornsby, that was just talking to that guy, hearing him tell some of the stories he had about writing those songs. I mean, Kurt Thompson, again, like you said, was just, I mean, Michael W. Smith, you just think about, and then the thing that I thought, I mean, we had some heavies with Wisdom again, the mayor of Dadville with David coming on, Thomas, and bringing the heat. I mean, Andrew Peterson, the end.
That's one of the best moments.
That and Stephen Curtis Chapman.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get out of this because I'm crying so hard right now. You know what I will say? I think globally with the podcast, something that was really powerful to me about this year, and it may just be because the world is back open and moving and, living and functioning again, but like, there were so many times this year where people talked to me about the podcast out in public.
Yeah.
Where I'd be somewhere and somebody would stop me. And the funniest thing, and shout out to all of you who did this because it really did make me laugh. The thing that was probably the cutest about it is they would always quickly go, "Oh, we love your music too." Like they could tell, "Oh, this is going to kill him. This could be the end of him if I don't." They could see it in my eyes, that.
And for those, like we've talked about this so much, like we love it when people mention the podcast.
Yeah.
Versus our music.
Yeah.
Like, for some reason, it just means so much more.
It does. Well, it was funny. I told you we were in Asheville with the Candroses this summer. Such a fun week, and for what did we do? I don't know. It didn't matter. It was this summer, and I saw these guys. There was like 3 or 4 guys.
Oh yeah.
They looked so cool.
Yeah.
And I was like, man. And I remember walking up, I was like a little intimidated because I was about to walk by. We're waiting at this restaurant, and just cool, like cool clothes, just cool looking guys. And as I'm passing,
they had like skateboards.
Yeah, skateboards, and they were vaping. It was so cool. And vaping. And this guy was like, "Hey, are you Dave Barnes?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Man, we love Dadville." And they all were just like, "It is." And I was like, "Oh my God, this is one of the coolest moments of my life." But I think this year more than any year we've done this, I felt like there was just more people that sort of talked to me about it. Just people would stop me and want to talk about it. And so it's been really encouraging. And for y'all who are listening, it's funny because, and this sounds really like disingenuous, but I promise I mean every word I'm saying. I don't know that we, John and I, you and I, think about that a lot. We just love doing it. Like I hope that it matters, and I hope the people we bring on, we can have conversations that are enlightening and challenging and vulnerable and fun and helpful. But I mean, it's not something where we're like sitting here going like, here's the mark we're trying to hit. I'm just like, God, I hope people like this. I don't know.
Yeah.
And so I think this year, as much as any, I was just so encouraged. I mean, you and I would send texts, when somebody'd be like, dude, I heard the podcast is great. And so I think this year from podcasts, my biggest takeaway is just feeling like, I think people like this. And I think it is something people are enjoying, which really is cool. It's just I've been so encouraged by that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's also really humbling because all of a sudden I'm like, oh God, am I thinking about this too much now? Like, does every moment have to be some like poignant,
right.
Like God, are we crying enough? Should we cry more? Not enough? Should we laugh more? But it is, I've been really thankful.
We've cried.
We cried a lot. This year was the most crying for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
Kurt Thompson barely made it through each of his episodes.
God, I love that guy. We got to have him back on the podcast.
Having Herbstreit on that, I think there was some. I laughed really hard. Dustin Nickerson made me laugh a lot, really hard. But when I was really proud of myself, I think the proudest I was this year of me is when I made the joke about. And now every time you say interception or touchdown, we'll know you're shouting out to Dadville.
With Kirk Herbstreit, with his book, I started a new habit that I love, which is I listened to his audiobook.
Yeah.
And I sat at the piano. So I'll put headphones in and have them on like noise canceling. And then I'll sit at the piano and I'll put the felt bar down and I'll just play whatever.
Oh, that's
play,
cool.
like,
I didn't know you did that.
Classical stuff or play mood stuff while I'm just listening to his book.
Oh, that's
and I've
cool.
done it with a couple books now.
Do you listen on normal speed?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, toward the end with his,
I
was listening at like 2 times the speed.
Yeah.
And then like stopping and like writing down a question or something.
Yeah.
It was like sensory overload.
Yeah. Okay, so when you think about, and this, let's go global again. When you think about 2023, where are you there? What are you thinking?
I mean, some of the things that I want to do, and this is in no particular order of priority or anything like that, but I am dead set on meditating more, which I started meditating in, thank you to Chad Carger, 2019 is when I started meditating, and like that's with like the Headspace app, maybe 20 minutes a day kind of thing. But I really want to do 1 or 2 times this year, do like a couple days where I'm like intensely 12 hours a day meditating. Because they have those like retreats where you go and some people have done it for like 10 days. I don't want to do that, but I have a good friend of mine who meditates a lot, and in so many ways I really look up to him, but especially in this field, he is a dedicated meditator, and he does a couple times a year. He might do it at his house, or he might go do a retreat where he just like meditates for a couple days straight, and he's always like the effects of it afterwards.
I can't imagine. I can't imagine.
So I really want to. I mean, I feel like this has been. And my Amy and I had words for 2022.
Oh, I love that.
And mine was peace. I am always trying to be more peaceful, and like when you're a senior in high school and you've already been accepted to your university, or you already know what you're going to do after high school or whatever, like the way that you exist for the duration of your senior year, I want that to be how I live my life.
That's a great way to. I love that. I love that.
So, so I want to meditate more. I do want to practice piano a little bit more. I go in phases, and whenever I'm out on tour, and people often ask me, a lot of like other piano players or whatever will ask, like, what's my routine? How much do I practice? And I mean, the truth is, I don't. I go in phases, but I don't really practice that much. I need to practice more. I mean, and need is a weird word. Do I need to practice more?
Right.
I don't need to practice more to like keep playing my songs or whatever, but I'm finding that I have these things. I'm getting more joy out of the little things in life that I do that are of no consequence outside of myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just for my own discipline. I remember I heard this talk that Wynton Marsalis did about being a musician and honing your craft, and it was a great talk that I'm not even going to attempt to butcher, but he just talked about how no one will know that you can really play. Like, you might be the only one who knows like how intimately you can play your instrument, but there's so much value in just that, on its own, So, so those two things, and then, as always, just I want to, just to be a more patient, present father and husband.
I mean, I love hearing you say peaceful because I'm like, you are one of the most peaceful people I know. So I'm like, I got a lot of work to do.
But I think that it's, it's ironic because my buddy Darren, who I'm talking about, who meditates a lot. I mean, you've never met a more sort of zen, serene, peaceful person. And I don't know if maybe that's like a consistent thing amongst people like that you would think the people who need it the least are the ones that seek it out the most. Maybe because there's more happening underneath the surface. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe in some subconscious way, it's imposter syndrome, and it's me trying to fulfill what people put on me as being a peaceful person.
Yeah.
I don't think that it's that consciously. But,
Yeah. Yeah, that's an interesting take on that.
These are just some of the thoughts that you think when you try to meditate.
Can that be your book on meditation?
Yeah.
The thoughts you think when you're trying to meditate.
The thoughts you think when you're trying to not think while meditating. What about you?
You know what? I had a couple of realizations this year. I kind of keep a little note. I think we talked about this last year. Just each year, just quotes I hear that I like or things that I think that I want to remember. One of the things that I wrote, which I think is something I really want to spend more time. This is a tricky way to say it because I don't want to think about it. Anyway, this is the quote. Like, 2 things that always get me in trouble. I wrote this: not being in the moment, and then thinking of myself too much. And I was talking to Micah about this a few weeks ago, and this is a lot of people. You have a right to roll your eyes at this if you hear this and think, man, it took you a while to get there. But I realize so much of the problems I have in my life are when I just think about myself too much, when I'm too conscious of myself, which is just the opposite of humility. You know what I mean? Like, humility is, I love that quote, is thinking of yourself less. You know what I mean? Like, it's not just thinking less of yourself, it's thinking of yourself less, right? And I just think about myself a lot. I'm very conscious of me and what I want and how I'm feeling, and and I think it just causes a lot of trouble. And so this year, as best I can, I just don't want to do that as much. I want to be a little less tuned in to me in some healthy ways, And then
and ironically, you could do that for selfish reasons.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But it is to your detriment to focus on yourself too much.
It is. And I think, everybody's going to say every year we get worse as a culture, and I don't know about that. I'm not a historian that way, but I do know that, like, even like with little fitness apps, and I'm very attuned to me. Yeah. Like, how am I feeling? Am I tired today? How did I sleep last night? It's all these things, and I think those things are helpful. But I know with me, I can get a little too. So I think something heading into this year and beginning this year, I just want to try to be a little less conscious of those things, and others focused, and just life focused, and less like, how am I feeling? What the hell, Yeah. I think that's something. I am really excited about making this record. That is like, there's definitely a good eye on that. Not I don't think anxious eye, but like, man, it's just gonna be really fun to work on that. Yeah. And then, all the things you said, I just think with the kids, and that was something that was a bit, I mean, you and I were talking about that earlier. I think one of the biggest reminders I had of doing this trip was it just was so good to be with the kids and with Annie. Like, especially with the kids, like really having time with them, and not even sitting down and having these huge, like life discussions, or like sitting down with Sam, who's 6, and going, how are you doing? But just like, just time, wasn't on my phone. We're walking around London. We're doing these things. And I just feel like getting home last night, I just felt like, man, I just feel very attuned. I feel like I'm on my kids' wavelengths. Yeah. And that's hard for me on the day-to-day Nashville thing. And so I think trying to maintain some version of that, I don't know what that looks like, but, So
you think that one thing that I feel like I'm learning as I get older is the fact that it's never going to be like the thought that you have in your mind, like you're saying, like you can picture like sitting down and having this like Bible study with your kids.
Yeah, right.
Or like having this moment. Like it's never you can't curate it the way that you all want to curate it.
Yeah.
At least in my experience.
Yeah.
Like oftentimes like the like evening prayer time is trying.
Oh gosh.
I mean, the prayer before dinner is the low point of the dinner. Often.
Yeah.
Because we're trying, like my one eye is open and like Livy's on the roof. I'm like, come on, guys, it's 30 seconds. But no, like I'm trying to let go of trying to curate those things and control those things because, to your point with this trip that you just went on, like you had all those great moments with your kids, and you come home and you feel like you're on the same wavelength. But the price you had to pay was all the low moments. You're in all the moments. I mean, you want to throw your kids, out
into
the
River
window.
Thames. Yeah. I mean, I told you before, but so anybody listening doesn't think like, oh, what a gloomy. I mean, I think it's the 2 times I've been the maddest at my kids are on this trip. I mean, we were in New York and we went to a movie. I mean, we were in New York for 3 days. Now, granted, we had been this summer, which helped because they had, we'd been there before. But I was like, we're going to a movie because Annie was with some friends that were doing the wedding and she wanted to see the girls. And I was like, we walked around Central Park, and I mean, I don't know that I've ever been that mad at him.
Mm-hmm.
I was livid,
mm-hmm.
and I was like, I texted Annie, I was like, I'm going to a movie. She's like, go to a movie, and we just sat and watched Puss in Boots, which shout out, which is great.
Bring
movie.
the kids.
Yeah,
we took them to a movie too, or that movie too. It was great.
It was amazing. I fell asleep for 30 minutes in it and I never sleep
even
in movies
better
because I was so tired. But literally, I was like, I'm gonna kill them if I don't do this.
Uh-huh.
I am so mad at them right now.
Yeah.
So it don't be mistaken.
Yeah.
There were numerous times a day where Annie and I were like livid.
Yeah.
But to your point, you still come home and that's not what you remember, thankfully.
Yeah.
You remember the better things. But I mean, there was some moments where Annie and I both, she would have to grab my arm and I'm like, okay, calm down. Or I'd be like, hey, everybody's looking at us in the store. And I'm like, let's chill out.
We represent America.
It is, I mean, this is a whole other conversation which we don't have to do, but it is a reminder as a parent when you're doing these trips that like, it's not the trip you wanted to do. And I know everybody's like, well, duh, you took kids. But I will even forget, like, no, let's take them all up to Abbey Road and walk around. And he's like, what did you say earlier? There's nothing in it for them. What's the way?
Yeah, there's no redeeming qualities in
those moments in
kids.
those outings for the kids.
Yeah.
So Annie thankfully put together a schedule that was like, no, everything we're doing, there's something they'll be interested in. But I can forget that, and I'm like, no, let's take them. And she's like, no, like or like I told you, we didn't go to Portobello Road because the market wasn't on it. And she was like, they're not going to want to do anything there, and then we will get mad because we want a moment they don't.
Yeah.
And all they want is ice cream, and we're like, no, look at this cool
Yeah.
So it's not glamorous, but it was really great. So I think about this year, and I'm like, it'd be fun to try to have a little more intention around however you do that when you're at home, and I don't know how to do that well. But
this is a random thought, but I just remembered this, and I want to say it because I want to remember this forever. This is one of my favorite memories from 2022, and favorite memories with Livy. So Livy is our youngest. She's 7. And she genuinely has a great sense of humor. She has a quirky little personality. I love it. But we're sitting in Christmas Eve service at our church. And this is the only service the whole year that the kids sit in the service with us. All the other services, they go to like Kid Town. So I'm sitting next to Livy, and a friend of mine comes up and chats with me actually it was Elliot, our pastor.
Yeah.
So Elliot comes over. I'm talking to him, and Livy knows Elliot, and he walks away, and at the exact same time, deadpan dryly, Livy and I both lean over to each other and go, "Who was that guy?"
No.
At the exact same time.
No.
And I almost teared up. Like,
that is so
I had this moment I was like, Livy, we just said the same joke at the same time. I never want to forget that moment.
That is amazing.
Isn't that so great?
That is so funny. I don't know what made me think of this, but one of the moments I wasn't there for, which is really so Annie said that they were on the train. Oh, because me and Ben were at Abbey Road. She had Sam and Xana on the train, and when you're on the train that we were coming from on the district line from Putney, you pass by Stamford Ridge, where Chelsea football club, soccer team plays. And Sam apparently yelled as loud as he could, "Chelsea sucks, Arsenal's the best." And she said, "Dave, I literally acted like I didn't know who he was. I just looked over at him, like, because he was a couple seats down. Yeah. And it made me think, one, how terrifying that is, but just kids, to your point, when we went to a Chelsea game, and I had to sit both Ben and Sam down on the way there. I was like, listen to me. We are behind enemy lines. And Sam, if you yell that, we will be killed. We are sitting in the home section behind the goal. They will literally kill us. They will beat us to death with, like, phones in their fists." Right. And I was like, "Sam, look at me. You cannot do that. Do you understand?" I was like almost trying to give him trauma because I just knew we'd be sitting in there and he dead quiet and he'd go, "Oh, I said no." And literally it would be the end of us. We would just be smashed pulps. But there was, when you said that, I was like, and he texted me that, and thankfully that was after the game. But I was like, he would have been the one that would have been, and it would have been funny. Like I would have, and then it would have been like, here we go, we're dead. It was been a good. I've never, by the way, just small aside, that was a very intense 2 hours because you are in the home section. These are the crazies. These are like the people who are.
So was it Chelsea versus Arsenal?
No. We just went to a Chelsea game because Andrew, our buddy, got some tickets.
Yeah.
And we were sitting in the, I mean, this is not even like the casual fans who might have laughed at that or been like, "Oh, it's a kid." Like, this is where you are.
These guys are crazy.
Yeah, these are the crazies.
Yeah.
And I just, every time when Ben, I wasn't worried about.
Yeah.
Sam, every time he turned and his mouth opened, I was like, "Whoa," and he'd be like, "I'm hungry." I'd be like, "Okay, good, let's go." But I was like, this little wild card. Oh my God, it was terrifying, but it was really fun. But it was terrifying. I mean, absolutely terrifying.
That's so great that you guys got to go to those.
I know
games.
It was fun. It was really fun. Okay, so to wrap this thing up, do you have any random? I know you've mentioned your resolutions, but anything that is sort of like, you're kind of like, okay, this, that's like not as serious or weighted, or let's be great dads. Do you have any random, like anything you're like, maybe kind of cool to?
I don't have anything really specific. It's more like I'm going to try to do the things, like there are about 1 million things around our house.
Oh yeah.
All of 2022, I walked past, like literally there is a blanket. It's like one of those outdoor picnic blankets outside on my walk to the shed. It's out there.
Yeah.
And there's a cooler out there too. Both of these things, every single time I walk past them, which I walk past them 10 times a day, I'm like, I need to put those up.
Yeah.
And 2023, I'm like, let's be better at that. Because it would take you, 40 seconds to do the thing that bothers you 10 times a day?
Yeah.
Just do the thing. Just do it.
Do the thing. That's going to be your resolution.
Just do it.
Just do the thing. 2023, just do the thing. So y'all know this probably if you listen to this, I have these random resolutions I do. And they used to be copious in amount every year. This year, over the last couple years, really. So last year, I did a plank for a minute every day. This year, I'm going to try to do 15 push-ups a day, which I try to do. 15 push-ups are not hard to do. I mean, try to do them every day.
Yeah.
Are
you going to keep doing the plank?
No, I'm dropping the plank.
You're dropping the plank.
That got so annoying.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds dumb because it's a minute, but like literally we were going to bed, I think the night we got to England, and I was in the bed and I was like, oh my, and I'm dead
But you
tired.
did it every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I got out of bed.
A minute plank before bed?
Oh, it was awful.
Yeah, that wakes the whole body up.
Well, that's the thing. And so that is like one of my things. I'm very like, if I'm going to do it, let's do it. But I think this year I'm going to do. I did a year I did 25 a day. And so I say 15 because it gives me, then I can do 50.
And you'll keep going.
I can do whatever. But it's just like, that's the baseline.
I'm going to do 16.
No, okay. Let's say 20 now.
Okay.